We'll quickly recap what we discussed in the last class. Last class we discussed the difference between microprocessor and the different type of architectures. We discussed CISC and you know RISC type of architecture and Harvard and 1-in-1 architecture. We also concluded that 8051 is basically a combination of both CISC and RISC architecture, and it is of a Harvard type architecture. Whereas 8086 is a CISC type and 1-in-1 type of architecture. Okay. Okay. Yes. Now let us quickly look into the syllabus. Okay. So this first, of course, we first unit and second unit deals with the 8086 processor. As we discussed earlier, first since next semester we have a laboratory based on 8051. Our discussion will start with 805 microcontroller. That's from third unit, and for the first test also we'll have from third unit. Okay, so the portions will be from third unit. Okay, so it's arranged in such a way that but obvious question is that why 886 is in the beginning of the syllabus. That is according to the title, processor and controller, and hence we have 8086 at the beginning. Okay, but of course we'll cover this. At the end we'll discuss this in little detail. No problem. Okay, so let us start with the third module, 805 microcontroller architecture. So for this, I'm going to make use of this material. Just give me a second. Let me open. One is okay, MC notes. That should be from. Just a second. I think already have somebody waiting to join. Okay. Yeah. Here we go. Okay, so last class we discussed this difference in CISC and RISC type of architecture and Harvard. Of course, actually, if you see the syllabus, these concepts are in self-study, and straight away we'll not discuss. We're not supposed to, but that happens to be the very basic concept, so we cannot exclude that. So that's why I thought I'll have a discussion on that. It's very useful also. Okay, yeah. Okay, so that's about various type of architecture. A few more architecture that we'll see little later. Okay, so next is 805 microcontroller. I'll be sharing this material, no problem. I'll a lot of material to share with you guys. Yesterday somebody had asked a question, which textbooks to refer for this course. Mainly I think mentioned, but okay, no issues. Two textbooks. One is Gaonkar, where this is. Actually, main textbook is this one, guys. Douglas V. Hall. This is the main textbook for microprocessor, and for microcontroller it is Mazidi, Muhammad Ali Mazidi. There are many other textbooks like Kenneth J. Ayala, but we prefer this because this has a lot of programs. Okay, whereas Kenneth J. Ayala deals only with the theory concepts of 805 microcontroller. Okay. So and hence we refer Muhammad Ali Mazidi for 805 microcontroller, and Douglas V. Hall for 886 processor. There's one more book, Gaonkar, which is not specified in the list of textbooks. That also can be referred. Okay, Gaonkar. Sorry, I'm not able to recall the full name of the author, and the second name is Gaonkar. Okay, it's also a very useful book, nonetheless. Okay, so this is a foreign author book. That's Indian author book. They're standard for our processor and controller studies. Of course, the Gaonkar is only for processor. Your higher studies, like when you take up GATE or some higher studies, there will be processor and controller concepts for which you have to refer from these standard books. Okay, so they have a lot of information to share. Okay. I strongly suggest read from the textbooks. Okay, of course, maybe right now you don't have access to the textbook, I understand, but to get an access to textbook, it is always better to have a look into study from the textbook, refer the textbooks. Okay, yes, I will be referring this material. This is very useful for our discussion. For most of the topics, I will be referring this book. I'll be sharing this also. You get in the Google actually. No issues. I'll share this with you guys. This has a lot of points related to only 8051. This discuss only 8051. So for 8086, I'll refer some other material like PPTs and PDFs. Okay. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So that is this material. I'll be referring to this also. This has a lot of sorry. I think somebody joined now. Okay, so that's why this I'll be frequently switching from this PPT or PDF and this browser, because otherwise it will not admit the students. So that's the reason. You may find it is a little boring, but if I don't switch back, it will not admit the students. Okay, we have to it will not admit the students. Let's say to frequently switch back and forth. Okay, yeah, here we go. Okay, yes, let us look into the architecture. The architecture is little detail in this material, in this notes, which I'll be sharing with you guys. Okay, so let us refer this for the 8051 architecture. Yes, I guess all of you can see this, this picture here, because I'm trying to fit it to the page, so that we can comfortably see. I think I'll make it full screen. Okay, just a second. Let me see full screen page display. Zoom, not zoom. The actual size here. To fit. Okay, this is somebody is here. Okay, here we go. Okay, yes. Okay, yes. Now, 8051 microcontroller architecture. Okay?
Sir?
Yes, sir. Yeah,
sir, your screen is not visible.
Okay. I think somebody shared the screen also. Wait. But I'm already sharing, Oh, sorry. Instead of hiding the screen share display,
Stop sharing.
I clicked on stop sharing. Sorry. I should have been clicking on this side instead of this. Okay, sorry. Thank you anyway, because I may not notice whether you guys are able to see that or not. Sorry. Here we go. Okay. Architecture. Yes. Yes, I can. We can see this screen now. 8051 microcontroller. Okay. Yes, 8051 microcontroller is developed by Intel company. Basically, it's a 8-bit controller. Okay. What is an 8-bit controller? Yes. Now, 8-bit. Let us understand it like this. A processor and controllers, basically they are digital ICs. Okay. When we say digital ICs, they have to accept input values. This is the processor or controller anyway. So these are the pins. Okay. Last class we saw the pin pin picture also. You see top view of the IC. So it has a physical pins connected to IC, through which we actually make the connection to the external devices or external world. Okay. So these devices 8086 or 8051 will accept only digital values. Okay. So when you say digital values, somebody is on the line. Okay. Just a second. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So when we say digital values, it is zeros and ones. What we have understood in our 86 course, it will take only zeros and ones. Okay. It cannot accept any continuous signal like this. It cannot take up a analog signal. It has to be a digital signal. What if external signal is analog in nature? It has to be converted into digital using A to D converter, analog to digital converter, which we are going to discuss in our course. So thereby, what happens now is this digital data which is applied to the microcontroller should be of a specified length. Okay, guys, for example, you have in your mobile device or in your laptop, you have 64-bit processor. Okay, is what is that 64-bit processor means? It can accept maximum of 64-bit of data at a time. There is 128-bit processor also in the market. I don't have example for that. I mean, maybe Intel or AMD, I'm not sure, but I heard of there are some processor which are 128-bit size, processors are available, ARM processor. That means 128 bit means it can accept 128 bit of data at a time. Bit, it's not byte, it's a bit of data. Similarly, older systems, you must have heard of 32-bit processor. 32-bit processor means it can accept 32-bit of data. Likewise, 8051 microcontroller can accept 8-bit of data at a time. Okay, that is 0 to 7. 0 to 7 bit. Okay, what is the significance of this 0 and 7? One end is LSB, the other end is MSB. That's all. Okay, so that's the significance of this, but it is very important nonetheless. So it can accept 8-bit of data. Okay, so 8051 microcontroller is a 8-bit processor, 8-bit controller. Okay, some authors refer 8051 as a processor. Why? Because it also processes the data, so it can also be called as a processor. Since in our course we are going to discuss both processor and controller, let us be specific. Let us call 8051 as a controller and 8086 as a processor. But 8051 will also be called as a processor. There is nothing wrong in that. Okay. What are the various components of a 8051 microcontroller? Let us quickly, go through the various blocks in the processor, controller. Then we'll discuss salient features of a 8051 microcontrollers. Okay, 8051 block diagram. ALU. ALU is arithmetic logic unit. This block is responsible for performing various arithmetic and logic operations. We have seen what are the various arithmetic and logic operations. That is addition, subtraction, division, and let us say multiplication, and other operations also, because we can write program to perform other operations using these basic operations. When it comes to logical operations, we can perform AND operation, OR operation, and we can perform complement operation. There is NOT operation. Using this, we can implement other operations also, like like XOR operation, XNOR operation, derived operations, basically. Okay, all that is possible. Okay, so this is the main device, main hardware which performs most of the operations in 8051 microcontrollers. So now, for this to perform some operation on the data should be stored somewhere. See, without data, it cannot perform any operation. Okay, those datas are stored in a 8-bit registers. They are called as A and B register. Okay, A is called as accumulator. A stands for accumulator. Obvious question is what B stands for. Since A is called as an accumulator, another register is called as a B register. Okay, instead of calling by some other name, another register is called as a B register. Both of them are 8-bit in size. Both the registers are of 8-bit in size. Why 8-bit? Why not 32-bit? Why not 16-bit? Why? Because 8051 microcontroller is basically a 8-bit microcontroller. Okay, now what happens? Okay, let us understand like this. Let us say using 8051 microcontroller, we need to process 16-bit data. Let us say we need to process 16-bit data or something, some data bigger than 8-bit, larger than 8-bit of data. Then what happens is that this given data which is bigger than 8-bit, for example 16-bit, that is 0 to 7. Because what is 8-bit is called as? It is called as a byte. 8-bit of data is called as a byte. Okay, each byte, let us call this as byte 1 and byte 2. If the data is bigger than 8-bit, it will be converted into set of 8-bit of data, and each set then it is applied to 8051 microcontroller. 8051 microcontroller. Okay, since the reason for that is 8051 can accept only 8-bit of data at a time, not bigger than that. What if the data is 10-bit? 10-bit. Okay, this is possible. Let us say data is only 10-bit. That is 0 to 7, 8 to 9, 8 to 8 and 9, sorry. Okay, okay. So this should be, okay, 10 bit. Okay, 0 to 7, 8 and 9. Totally 10 bits, correct? Now, the lower 8 bit is called as a byte. Lower 8 bit is called as a byte. Upper there are only two more bits left. These two bits are padded with zeros, so that this can be converted into 1 byte. This can be converted into 1 byte. Okay, that is from 8 to 15. So this forms another byte. This forms byte B2. So this is B1 and this is B2. Okay. So this data can now be applied into. Somebody joined now. Here we go. Okay. So this data can now be applied into. Okay. Here we go. So this data can now be applied into 8051 by 200. Okay. Understanding here is that data should be at least of 8 bit in size. What if the data is less than 8 bit in size? For example, let's say data is only 4 bit or 3 bit, for example. Okay, so let us say this is 5 bit. We'll take example, no issues. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, data is only 5 bit in size. Okay, in that case, this data again has to be converted into 8 bit of data. Okay, it has to be padded with zeros so that it can be converted into 8 bit of data. 5, 6, and 7, 8 bit of data. It's okay. I think this point is clear. Data bigger than 8 bit or lesser than 8 bit has to be padded with has to be converted in such a way that data should be a set of 8 bits, not more than 8 bit. Okay. If it is more than 8 bit, reduce it to sets of 8 bit. Okay. So thereby, to perform this operation, on set of data, for example, let's say we want to perform 5 plus 7, some addition operation. Okay. So one of the data has to be available in A register, another data should be available in B register. Okay. So that it can perform operation on the given set of data. Not only arithmetic operation, you can perform logical operations like logical AND operation or logical OR operation. All this can be performed. Okay, this next is this addition operation, subtraction, whatever it is, will generate some intermediate results. Okay, not the result like for example we perform 5 plus 1, result is 6. This one kind of result which will be stored in accumulator. Okay, it's something like, for example, I'll take one example. So let us say I need to perform 5 plus 6 or 5 plus 1, whatever it is. Okay, one of the data should be available in accumulator. Another data can be available in B register, or it can be available in some other location. That we'll understand later. In addressing mode, we'll understand that. For timing, let us assume that one of the data is should be available in the A register. Another data is optional. It can be available in any other location. So when we perform addition of A and B, the result will always be stored in A. It cannot be stored anywhere in any other location, not in B register or not in any other memory location. It has to be stored in accumulator. Okay, so result should be stored back to accumulator. Other than this result, for example, let us say some of the numbers, for example, we are adding 0 plus 0, 0 plus 0. The result generated is 0. Or we are adding, let us say 5 plus 9. It generates some carry, for example. Okay, it generates some carry. Okay. This information has to be stored in some other locations which are called as flags, okay, which indicates the condition of arithmetic and logical operations performed by the ALU. Those flag bits or flag locations are stored in a 8-bit register called as PSW, which stands for Program Status Word. Which stands for Program Status Word. Okay, program state. Why? Because let us say, for example, we are doing some operation. It generates some result. I'm not interested in the final. Of course, final result is also important, which is available in accumulator. But it generates something like it generates a carry. Okay, how to? We cannot store carry in the accumulator because carry is not. See, for example, I'll tell you why. Let us say, for example, we perform 11 plus 14, 92, some data. Okay, it generates a carry. What is the size of carry? 1 bit. The result of addition, 8 bit. What is the total size now? 8 bit plus 1 bit. The result is 9 bit. 9 bit. Accumulator is only 8 bit in size. Accumulator is only 8 bit in size. Accumulator cannot accommodate carry bit. Accumulator cannot accommodate carry bit. Okay, and hence microcontroller provides additional flag bits which accommodates these kind of bits and other flag bits, which a group of these flag bit is called as a program status word. Program status word. Okay, we'll discuss program status word in more detail. This is internal memory. Program status word is a register. Okay, as the name suggests, it is a register which is part of the internal memory. Okay, A and B is also register. A and B also has other name. They are also, some author call it as a CPU register. Some authors they call it as math registers. Why math register? Because it is used to perform some mathematical and logical operations, arithmetic and logical operations. That's why it's also called as a math register. CPU or a math registers. There are different names, because if you refer some other textbooks, you will find some other name. Okay, you need not be confused. There are different names. Okay, here we go. So those are about A and B register and what is known as a program status word. Okay, and this consists of only flags, flag bits, and the size of program status word is 8 bit, 8 bit in size. Okay, yeah, here we go. Next we have what is known as a PC. PC stands for program counter. Program counter. Okay, fine. Guess what is program counter? Program. Okay, so let us discuss briefly, because when we discuss memory architecture, then we'll discuss PC in detail. I'll give basic information of program counter. Okay, so let us say we have memory. Memory selected is here. Okay. Sorry. Something. There we go. Okay. So let us say we have memory, memory block where the instructions are stored. The memory where the instruction is stored is called as a code memory. Code memory. Why code? Of course, you guys know very well. Programming language. Code refers to program. Okay, something but program. Okay, program memory is also called as a ROM memory, read-only memory. Okay, so whatever, let us say I write program. Let us say my program has 10 lines, for example. Okay, this program or code I have written in either in assembly language or in C language is stored in the memory. Is stored in the memory. Okay, so microcontroller will start executing these instructions one by one. Okay, one after the other. Okay, so this is the first instruction. This is the second instruction. Similarly, there is a, let us say for example, 10th instruction. There are a number of instructions. Generally, we'll take one example. Okay, now this has to be executed in a particular order. Particular order in the sense starting from first instruction up to last instruction. Okay, there must be somebody to tell microcontroller which instruction to be executed next in a particular order. For that, microcontroller makes use of a special register called as a program counter. Program counter. As the name suggests, program counter is a guess what is a counter? I think counter we have come across in our ADC lab. We had an experiment for program counter, which counts. Guess what is the program counter counts? Sorry, not program counter. Sorry. What is the counter counts in ADC lab? You had an experiment, on
pulses.
Correct. It counts clock pulses. Okay. Input for the counter is clock pulses. Okay. Similarly, in this case, in our case, this counter should be counting something. Okay. What does it counts is the number of instruction executed by the microcontroller. For example, let us say it starts with first instruction. it executes first instruction. Let us say the first instruction says add two numbers 5 plus 4, some example. Okay, after executing this instruction, it will go to next instruction. It has to jump to the next instruction. Next instruction is located in the next address. Okay, for example, I'll take one example. The address of the first instruction is 1. This is not the actual address, just for our understanding purpose. Next is address, next location address is 2. That means we have to increment the counter or increment the address so that we go to the next location. After executing the second instruction, it has to go to the next address, next location whose address is 3. That means it has to be incremented by 1 value. Okay, so what is the PC does is it starts execution from the first instruction. Once the first instruction is executed, it automatically jumps to the next location by adding 1 to the content of program counter. That is, initially program counter was 0. Okay, it will add 1. That is, it starts from the execution of the first instruction. It executes the first instruction, then it has to go to the next location. It will add the content of PC with 1. The result is stored back to PC, which is now in our case it is 2, and it points to the second location, and it will execute the microcontroller will execute the instruction. While the microcontroller is executing the present instruction, which was pointed by the PC already increments by 1 value. It is ready by pointing to the next instruction. Okay, that means when present instruction is being executed by the microcontroller, PC points to the next instruction. Why? Because it has already incremented by 1. It is automatically pointing to the next instruction. When the present instruction execution is completed, microcontroller is looking for next instruction to execute. Who will tell where the sorry, somebody is waiting. Yeah. Okay, we will tell the microcontroller to execute which instruction? Program counter. It has already incremented by 1. It is already pointing to the next instruction. Because of this reason, this register which tells microcontroller which instruction to execute next is called as a program counter. Program by because it is pointing to the code, and counter is because it automatically increments by 1 value to point to the next location where the next instruction to be executed by the microcontroller is stored. Yes, I think I hope you got some basic idea. What is the size of this PC? Program counter is 16-bit in size. Program counter is 16-bit in size. Okay, why it is 16-bit in size? When everything is 5-bit in size, 8-bit in size in microcontroller, why program counter is 16-bit in size? Okay, yes, the reason for that is microcontroller. Okay, yeah. This let us understand that concept also. Yeah, I need to. I don't know why this is. Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay, so program counter. PC. This is little too huge. This should be okay. Here we go. Program counter. Okay, 16-bit in size. Because to understand this concept, let us say we will understand like this. There is a locality in an area. There are n number of houses. Okay, let us say there are 10 houses, 10 number of houses. Okay, let us identify it as addresses from 1 to 10. Okay, address of the first house is 1, address of the last house is 10. Okay, if it is only 10 houses, what is the maximum number of digits required to identify the houses? 2 digits. 2 digits is sufficient. Okay, using 2 digits, you can identify maximum of 100 houses. That is 99 houses, not 100. Sorry, 99. Okay, that is from 90 to 99. Okay, maximum of there is a 99 houses. Okay, let us say we have many more number of houses. We have 10 more number of houses. There is 110 houses, 110 number of houses. Okay, if it is 110 number of houses, 2 digit is not sufficient to identify the house numbers. Because more number of houses, we need more digits. At least we need 3 digits to identify the houses. Okay, that is from 100 to 109. Okay, so thereby more the number of digits used to identify the address, more is the number of houses we can identify, we can represent, or we can address. Similarly, in 8051 or in general in processor terminology or processor concept, more the number of address bits, more the number of address bits, more is the number of location we can point. For example, let's I'll take a simple example. Okay, let's say there is a 4-bit register. There is a 4-bit. We have come across shift register in our ADC lab. This is a 4-bit register. Okay, let us identify each bit as binary in terms of binary. Okay, 0, 1, 2, and 3. That is 0 is the LSB bit, and 3 is the MSB bit. Okay, now uh, how many bits are there? 4 bits. Okay, this representation is in terms of decimal number system. Okay, but in microcontroller and processor, since they are digital ICs, digital processor and controllers, everything should be in terms of binary, zeros and ones. There cannot be sorry, decimal number system like 2, 3, 4 or 9, 10, 11, something like this. Okay, it should be in terms of binary. Okay, so now we have a 4-bit register. 4-bit in the sense there are 4 flip-flops connected in series, and hence it gives a 4-bit register. We have to identify each location using binary numbers, not using this decimal number system. Okay, how many binary bits are required to identify 4-bit register? Okay, so for that we require at least 2-bit address or 2-bit representation to identify 4-bit register. Okay, why 2-bit is, for example, 0, 0. Okay, 0, 0, let us say for example it identifies first bit. Okay, that means address of the first bit is 0, 0. Next comes 0, 1. I'm using 2-bit number system or 2-bit representation to identify 4-bit register. So next bit is let us say 0, 1. Guys, are you able to see the screen? Guys, I'm scribbling on the screen. Are you able to see that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, because I'm not able to see in my mobile. It is not updating, I guess. Maybe network is slow. Anyway, okay. So thereby, second bit is identified using 0, 1. Why 0, 1? Because it identifies the second bit of a 4-bit register. Next is what should be the next address, guys? I think you can easily guess. It's very simple. Okay. Next bit is identified with the address 10. Okay, correct. The third bit is identified with the 10 address. The last bit is identified with the address 11. Last bit is identified with the address 11. Let us write the address for each bit: 0, 0, 0, 1. Sorry, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. 1, 0, 1. Of course, in decimal it is 0, 1, 2, and 3 anyway. No problem. Okay, fine. This is for the 4-bit. Let us take a bigger picture now. Let us say I got a 10-bit register. I got a 10-bit register. So 10-bit register means there are 10 flip-flops. It can be identified as 0 to 9 in terms of decimal. 0 to 9. This is the LSB bit, and this is the MSB bit of a register. Okay. Yes. Now the question is, how many address bits are required to identify 10-bit register? Can somebody answer this? How many address bits are required to identify 10-bit register? That means each register should have an address. Like this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. Okay. Likewise, I need to identify each bit of a 10-bit register using a binary address, not using this decimal address. Sorry, this is 9.
3 bits.
3-bit. Correct. 3-bit. Why 3-bit is because 2 power 3. It is a 2 power n formula, 2 power n relation. Okay, where n is the number of address bits. N is the number of address bit. N is the address bit. 2 power n is equal to m. Okay, where m is the number of locations or bits in a register, number of bits in a register. For example, for a 4-bit register, what is the formula, guys? 2 power 2. 2 power 2 is equal to 4. Very simple. Okay, so that means using 2-bit address, we can access we can identify maximum of 4-bit register. 2 power 3. we can access maximum of, what is 2 power 3 guys? 8. Maximum of 8-bit register. So thereby for 10-bit register we need at least 2 power 4 address bits. Sorry, not 2 power 4. We need 4 address bit, so that with 4 address bit we can access the maximum of, what is 2 power 4 guys? 16. 16 locations or 16 bits. 16 bits. Yes, any doubt in this? It's very simple, you know. I think you guys have come across this in your, I think, basic electronics also. Very simple. This is a very simple concept. Okay, that means more is the number of bits in a register, more is the number of address bits required to identify the locations. Okay, fine. Yes, let us take a little bigger example now. Let us say I have a 20-bit register. Okay, somebody has to, you know, come out with the answer now. Let us say 20-bit register. 20-bit register. What should be the number of address lines? What should be the number of address bits? N. N is the number of address bit. What should be N? What is N?
5.
That means
5.
2 power N should be equal to, should be such that it should be greater than or equal to 20. Correct? 2 power 5. Correct. Somebody answered 2 power 5 is equal to 32. Okay. 2 power 4 is not sufficient. Why? 2 power 4 is 16. We can access only 16 bits. That is from 0 to 15. Okay, we can access only, you know, 15, 16, lower 16 locations. Not sufficient. We need to access upper 4-bit also. And hence number of address bits should be 5. Number of address bits should be 5. If it is 5, how does it ranges, guys? It ranges from, I need to write somewhere here. Let me write here only. It will range from 0, 0, 0, 0, 5 bits. Is correct. One end is LSB, other end is MSB. Okay. This will identify the first location, first LSB location. Okay. Next address bit is 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. Okay. This will identify the first location. This will identify the first location. Similarly, okay, for 20-bit, the last address should be, what is 20 guys? I need to calculate 16. The MSB is 16. 16 plus 4, 0, 1, 0, 0. Is correct? This is 16. 2 power 4, 16. This is 2 power 2, 4. This is 4. 16 plus 4, 20. 16 plus 4, 20. Okay. So this will identify the last address. This will identify the last address of 19. Last location. MSB location. MSB location. Okay. So the address bits ranges from 0, 0, 0, 0, 5 bits up to the last bit of 1, 0, 1, 0, 0. Is correct? Is that concept okay, guys? What I mean by address bits? Okay.
Yes, sir.
8050, yeah. Okay. 8051 follows binary address system. In that, it will consider what is known as hexadecimal address system. Hexadecimal address system. Is that correct? Hexadecimal address spelling. Hexadecimal address system. Okay. What is hexadecimal address system? It ranges from 0 to 9, which is same as decimal. Okay. And it has A to F. A to F. Total number of bits, total number of state or total number of number available is 16, starting from 0 to F. 0 to F. Okay. How does it identifies is that, for example, let us say address bit is, let us say some huge address number, and let me write some address, some address bits, something like this. Okay. Something like this, some example this. Okay. Now this is, let us say this is the address bits N. Okay. This has to be converted into hexadecimal number system, hexadecimal numbers. So for that we have to consider 4 bits. We have to divide into equal number of 4 bits. Of course, there is 2 bit left. For this, you can pad with the zeros. Now, guess what is this number? Can you tell me this in hexadecimal number? It is 7. 0, 1, 1, 1, 1 is 7. 0, 0, 0, 0 is hexadecimal 0. What is this 1, 1, 1, 0 guys in hexadecimal? Can somebody answer guys? 1, 1, 1, 0 in hexadecimal. Sorry, I think correct. 1110. This is 4 bits. This is 4 bits. What is 1110 is in hexadecimal?
E.
E, correct. E. Okay. Of course, 1111 is F. Correct. 1111 is F. Okay. Last 4 bits are 0001. It is very simple. It is 1. Okay. Very simple. Now, this is the address bit. This is the address bit. Okay. That means binary numbers which represents a address of a location is identified using hexadecimal number system. The other option was octal number system. Other option was octal number system, or other option was decimal. Okay, but most of the processor and controller, even now, even advanced processor and controllers follow what is known as hexadecimal address system. Yes, okay. Now, and hence, let us come back to this program counter, which is 16-bit in size. Okay, let me go back here. 16-bit in size has 2 8 bits. 16-bit means it has 2 bytes. Okay, this is program counter PC. The lower byte is from 0 to 7, and the upper byte is 8 to 15. Okay, so this is the lower byte, and this is the upper byte. So the range can vary from 0000 up to 1111. Okay, that means last location is identified with the address 1111. So 0000 will identify the first location. Last location is as an address of 1111. What is 1111? Just now we identified it as FF. F and F. Okay. Yes, sorry, I've written only 4-bit. I'm sorry. It should be 16-bit now. Okay. So 16-bit should be I'm sorry. I've written only 8-bit. I'm sorry. So let me erase this. Sorry, this should be 16-bit, not 8-bit. I wrote for 8-bit. So let us write for 16-bit. Okay, 16-bit means 0000. Okay, this is lower 8-bit, and upper 8-bit is let me write 0000. Okay, so this is 16-bit now. This will represent the first location. Similarly, the last location is 1111. And this is 1111. Similarly, 1111. Okay, that means last location as address of FF. Okay, last location as address of FF. Okay, and the first as address of 0000. Okay, so let me write somewhere here. Let me write now. PC address ranges from 0000 H. We write H. H indicates it is a hexadecimal number system. It's a hexadecimal number system. If the processor follows a decimal number system, we could have written D. Okay, since our processor both 8086 as well as 8051 microcontroller follows hexadecimal number system, we write it as H, hexadecimal number system. This is the first address, and the last address can be FFH. Okay, fine. Yes, now the question is, if the number of address bit is 16, how many locations it can access? What is M? How many locations it can access? That is, what is 2 power 16 is equal to? What is 2 power 16 is equal to? Can somebody calculate this? If you have a calculator, or you can use your mobile phone also. Nowadays, mobile phone also has a scientific calculator. Okay, if somebody can come out with a number.
65536.
Alva, 60. That is 65,536.
65,536.
Correct. She is more particular. It is 65,535. Correct. That is the correct answer. 65,535. That means total number. See, that is 2 power 16 is 65,535. We are representing in decimal. Okay. Yes. One more question. What is decimal equivalent of FF? You may have to use your calculator. Okay. Enter FF in hexadecimal mode. Convert into decimal mode. What is the value? What is the value in decimal value? In hexadecimal it is FFH. Enter this in a calculator in hexadecimal mode. Convert into decimal mode. The value is equivalent decimal value is
65,535.
65,535. That means first location address is 0000. Last location address is 65 in decimal equivalent. In decimal equivalent, 65,535. 65,535th location. What is the total locations? This is 0. That is first address. This is the last address. Total location is 65,536. Total location is 65,536. Is correct? Is that? Does it make sense, guys?
Yes.
Okay. So, correct. It makes sense. Okay. So total location it can access is, that means total location program counter can access is 65,536. Okay. If you write in terms of memory locations, program counter can access the accidentally clicked on eraser. Okay. Program counter can access ROM location, which can vary from the first location to the last location, whose address is 0000H, and the last address is FFFH. That is, the last location is 65,535. The first location is 0th location. Okay, and then total number of location is 65,536. Okay, in terms of kilobytes, in terms of kilobits, is it byte or a bit? Oh, sorry, I'm sorry, guys. In terms of kilobyte, we can represent this as 64 kilobytes. 64 kilobytes. That means program counter can access maximum locations of 64 kilobytes. In terms of bytes, or in terms of bits, it is 65,000. In terms of, not bits, in terms of locations, that is, it can access maximum of 65,536 locations. Okay, that means each location can store 8-bit of data. If each location can store 8-bit of data, program counter can access a memory which has 65,536 locations. 65,536 locations. Okay. Yes. Is this point clear? Yes. I mean, maybe it is slightly confusing here. Why it is 8-bit? Because microcontroller can handle 8-bit of data. That means one location can store maximum of 8-bit of data. It cannot store 16-bit of data. The microcontroller will not accept. It says I cannot read anything bigger than 8-bit. Okay. It should be maximum of 8-bit. One location, each location has an address. For example, this is the first location, and similarly there is a second location, there is a third location. Likewise, there are total of 65,536 locations whose address ranges from 0000 up to the last address of FFFH. Okay. In terms of bytes, it is 64,000 bytes. In terms of bits, it is 65,536 into 8 bits. In terms of bits, it's a very huge number. 65,536 into 8 bits. It is a very huge number, and hence we don't represent the capacity of internal ROM space. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I have to go back. Oh yeah, thank you. There is a good future. We can do undo in this software. Okay. So in terms of bits, it is a very huge number. 65,536 into 8. It is a very large, huge number. Let us represent only in terms of bytes. So program counter can access maximum of 64 kilobytes. Guys, any doubt in this, guys? I mean, maybe things may not be totally clear now. More on this we'll discuss in memory. Okay. So this is one of the important feature of a 8051 microcontroller, which is called as a program counter. And the purpose of the program counter is to point to the next location in the memory where the microcontroller is going to execute the instruction. Yes. Okay. Okay. Fine. So let us stop at this stage. It may be too much to discuss more on the architecture. We'll continue in the next class where we discuss other components of the 8051 microcontroller. Yes. Okay. Fine. Yes. Thank you. Thanks for joining. See you in the next class. Bye. Okay, see you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, see you. Bye. Bye. Good day. Bye.